What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Hope you guys had a good day wherever you're residing. Today was like, you ever heard of that thing or song or thing called dueling banjos? We had the dueling dipshits today. That was two people. One of them was actually leading, if you want to call it that, Tulsi Gabbard. And then we got the other one trying to become the head of DHS, our three name friend, or two names, the two name idiot, Markwayne Mullin. Okay. Just a little commentary to just get this off my chest. How in the world do idiots fall forward, or better yet, fail forward? These people have failed their way to top positions. I want you to understand, Markwayne Mullin used to be an MMA fighter. Not like he was a great one that we know of, but an MMA fighter. He's a hothead. He's the same guy that tried to snatch the sign from Reverend Al Green, or Representative Al Green. See, I always get that wrong. Representative Al Green. And all he was doing saying black people are not apes, which Donald Trump had posted, reposted, or tweet. I think he does post now, whatever. Same guy who claimed to be Native American when he had said himself that he's not. I'm not racist. I'm Native American. Even though he's pushing white nationalist bullshit. Yeah. Same guy that lied on a doctor, Dr. Menarez, I believe, something like that. Sorry if I messed your name up, ma'am, but who said blatantly, right in the meeting, ma'am, that's not how it went down. You know it didn't go down like that. He asked you a different question. Now, when are you going to admit you tell the truth? You're lying right here. She's the one under oath. He's telling her she's lying. You're lying right now. You know you're lying. She's under oath. You're lying. She said, no, this is exactly what happened. Stuck to what happened. Stuck to what happened. And then once he left, another Republican basically said, well, man, we're going to have to figure this all out, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to figure out information, see who's right, who's wrong. Then he gets a little note. Note was passed to him. He gets this little note. And this little note says, if I can get a piece of paper here. He gets a little note, and he's like, So this right here says, let me see. Markwayne Mullin just had an interview, and he was a lying sack of shit. He said that it did not happen. He misspoke. He grilled a woman, called her a liar, told her, come on now, tell the truth, brought his kids in on it. I teach my kids to tell the truth. If you lie now, I'm never going to trust you. And he was the one lying, the one that we should never trust. And they're trusting him with a position that the last person, she was just strange. This dude is strange and a humongous fucking liar. During his meeting, his hearing to become the head of DHS, he's caught in other lies. And it's like, I'm going to do my best. And then he talks about, where else can basically a dipshit like me obtain the American dream? Dude, you didn't obtain the American dream. You were handed a huge white fucking privilege. There is no reason you should be in a position you have no experience for. There is no reason that you would even accept the job that you have no experience for. You're coming. I'll never understand this. There are people working right now in DHS that are leaders right underneath whomever the head leader is. They've probably been there 10, 12, 20 years. They know this job like the back of their hand. They wake up with it every day. Just look at it. I know how to do this job with my eyes closed, one hand tied behind my back. They can accomplish the job. And instead of promoting from within, hiring people who do the job already, to become the leader of said job. Then there's no such thing as moving up. There is a ceiling for knowing your damn job. Can you imagine? You work for DHS 10 years, 20 years. You're right here. You're the second fucking in command. You know everything that's going on. Like if something went down, you know every protocol to take and go forward with it. And you'll never become the lead person of that department because each administration brings in their own fucking dipshit. Somebody who has never done the job, has barely any experience, has never worked in that position, but they've been in the military or they've been working. This dude was working, fixing toilets or some shit. And we're going to bring some uneducated buffoon that used to get his head bashed in. The one who went to the House floor and was talking, or at some committee hearing, reading a book talking about other black books should be banned because this book was talking about different races, red color, red and blue and black. Why we have to have it about race? This dipshit. That's the same meeting in which he claimed to be Native American because people were saying this is kind of racist. Well, you can't call me racist. I'm Native American. Nobody knew that. You brought that up to save face. Nobody knew you was Native American. You never claimed it. Just to get out of being a racist sack of shit, you try to say that you was Native. That's still, you can still be disrespectful to people, a bigot or whatever, but you try to act like you can't throw that label on me, while at the same time claiming this white supremacy bullshit. The reason Donald Trump wants you is because you're a fucking idiot and you'll fall in line, and that you fight before you actually think. And what bothers me about these Republicans who have a heart all of a sudden, or some kind of, you know, something needs to be fixed about all this stuff. Something needs to be fixed. I'm like, okay. Then you go and put somebody in a position that says, I'm good friends with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump had me and the wife over for dinner. Me and my wife really like him. The woman I love right behind me. Man, shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody believing this tap dancing bullshit. You're the same dude that wanted to fight somebody just because you couldn't think faster than that other human being. So you wanted to lead with your fist. I could only imagine how many times your wife don't got beat the fuck up by you. Your kids don't got beat the fuck up by you. Because nobody who thinks that tough, always fighting instead of thinking with your head. And then you get these Republicans, he's such a great guy. Where has he been a great guy? In the public eye in which he chooses to live, he's not a great guy. He wants to fight people. I don't like Rand Paul, but I don't think anybody should be jumped from behind. And he went on record talking about, oh, you know, he deserves this type of person he is, whatever. It's your character. I'm like, so what do you deserve? Markwayne Mullin, you done lied on a doctor, a professional who was under oath. You lied and then walked out of the meeting and then told some newspaper, which nobody can find, that you were the liar and she was telling the truth. It's crazy how these people misspoke. What is misspoke, Markwayne? Misspoke Wayne Mullin. What is misspoke? It just means lie. It's a cheap way to get out of fucking up. Without saying I fucked up. I misspoke. What does that mean you misspoke? Huh? Because you made that shit out of whole cloth. And that ain't misspeaking. You had to think that shit up. Misspeaking is if I said return and I said reburn. I misspoke. I meant return. R-E, you know, return. Yeah, it sounds somewhat alike. That's misspeaking. Me talking the entire 5 minutes of fucking lying. Coming up with story after story. My kids, I teach them how to tell the truth. Tell the truth again, man. She tells you exactly what the truth is to her. But come on, man, you know, there was more people in the room. How do you misspeak an entire 5 minutes of fucking questioning? Misspoke. 5 minutes. And they just move on. And I'm like, you get to lie for 5 minutes, try to destroy a woman's life and reputation, and then walk out and be like, my bad. Not even my bad. I misspoke. Let's move on. Let me go lie on somebody else. How does anybody want this dude representing them and he lies about everything? You know, the constituents who elected this dude, you know he's been lying to you the entire time. He doesn't tell the truth. He is Trump Jr. Don't believe me? Listen to this reel that was put together here of Markwayne Mullin. All the things I mentioned, not all of them is in this, but this is stuff that happened today. And one of the worst things you can do, this man committed today. But you don't see anybody saying it. They just think, oh, well, they're trying to find and catch him in a lie. But I'm going to tell you, this lie right here is a huge fucking whopper of a lie. It's something that could get you in a lot of trouble. But it'll be a misspoke. I misspoke about that. Watch. They're going to just let it go. Listen to this fool.
On March 2nd of this year, you told Fox News interview, quote, "War is ugly. It smells bad. If anybody has ever been there and been able to smell the war that's happening around you and taste it and feel it in your nostrils and hear it, it's something you will never forget." So where did you smell war?
Sir, I just said that this was classified, and the dates, locations, and admission, I've never spoke specifically details about.
Well, we can get that information.
That's fine.
Mr. Chair.
You're welcome to get it.
Is it today?
Okay, that's one. We're going to get to the next one in a second. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed is stolen valor. This man was on a podcast. This Markwayne Mullin was on a podcast talking about, the smell of war. He's never been in the military. Smell of death and all this other shit. He's talking like he's a military man. Now, later, the military, he's a senator now, but used to be an astronaut. He was in the military. He was a fighter in airplane fire firefighter, not firefighter, but jet fighter. He was that, right? And he said himself today, I can't even claim to know the smell of war, and I've been in war. I can give you the smell of jet fuel. He's been a jet fighter. But he is an honored military man. And this man has never been in the military. He's telling you he knows the smell of war. He was out there bragging on these podcasts, trying to make himself bigger than what he was. Never been in the military. He's only been a fighter in some kind of MMA tournaments or whatever the hell it is, but nothing that we know of, right? Mark Kelly, thank you, Miss Mission Road 100. Mark Kelly, if you've seen it earlier today. Mark Kelly is saying, I've been in war. We all know him to be, this lauded military man. Space, everything. He's like up there, man. And he's like, I can't tell you that I know the smell of war. I know the smell of jet fuel, but bodies and all that, don't know the smell of it. And I've served multiple tours. This man is having stolen valor right in front of us. Nobody has said it because everybody's trying to do their little research on it. But if this continues tomorrow, you best believe Rand Paul and the rest of them are going to have, where was this place at? They already asked him where it's at. I didn't get all of the interview, but another piece of that same conversation is they're asking him about how because he's saying that he went somewhere while he was a senator overseas somewhere representing America, and that's how he got the smell of war. Well, what? When were we at war? When our people, our senators, were overseas and you were doing some secret mission over there that's highly qualified, highly classified, and we sent our senators to a highly classified area that was at war as a senator, and you went over there and had a mission that was highly secret, classified, and nobody heard it. But then they get even deeper. And they're like, well, who classified it? Which department classified it? Oh, he freaked out. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. How do you know if it's classified if you don't know it's been classified? But who classified it? I don't know. It was from the House. You mean like the House and the Senate classified it? One of us, this building, this fraction classified it? And he was like, well, yeah. And then they were like, well, looking around, when do we classify information like this? We need to know more about it. We're going to check on it. Oh, y'all check on it. Y'all check on it. Yeah, check on what? This man is going out with stolen valor, acting like he's something that he's not. That lets you know what type of person he is. He's literally claiming that he knows the same thing that our military men and women are trying their damnedest to forget. He's out there bragging about it like he is one of them. They are in therapy trying to forget it. He is trying his best to get some kind of clout, acting like he's been there. And he went somewhere on as a senator, and he went there and smelled war. It doesn't even make sense. Yet he had Republican after Republican. He's a great guy. I've worked with him before. But then have you noticed this like incessant lying for shit that just no reason to lie? So why would you put him in the head of a department that needs people to tell the truth so that the American people, the House and the Senate, when he goes to meetings, and he's going to tell the truth, as long as it's not classified, he's going to tell the truth. Even if his department fucks up, he's going to tell the truth so that we can fix it. And if Donald Trump asks him to do something, that he's not just going to cower, he's going to be independent of what Donald Trump asks of him. How is that going to happen when he owes Donald Trump everything for getting this job? Because this man should not be the head of a fucking Subway. It's why? Why? I mean, you're not qualified, bro. You're just not qualified. And on top of that, you're a hothead. On top of that, you're just not smart. Other Republicans and Democrats over the years have talked about how this dude is not a smart cookie. He leads with emotion. He's not smart. You can listen to what he says and he sounds stupid. How he speaks, he sounds stupid. And you go sit there and say, oh, he can lead an entire department. I'm like, dude, how? He doesn't know this job. He knows nothing about it. Yo, think about this for a second. If any of you go to any job, lower end job, when I mean lower end, lower pay job, every valid job is a good job, don't get me wrong. But let's see you go to a restaurant and try to become the head chef because you like food. But you never cooked. No, you never cooked shit. No, you don't know nothing about cooking. You like the taste of food. It just tastes good. I like food. And I go to restaurants and I eat and I can taste it. It's got pepper and it's got salt and it's got this and it's cooked well. I don't know what temperature it is, but it just tastes good. That's about as much as I fucking know about being a fucking chef. And I'm going to go to a chef place to cook food for a restaurant and say, I want to be the head chef with no resume for being a chef whatsoever. Not even a fucking dishwasher. I ain't had none of those experiences. But I'm just going to walk into a restaurant and get the job as head chef because the owner likes me. Do you know how many people in that restaurant will end up dead with salmonella poisoning, with all kinds of shit, because I don't know the very basics of doing this fucking job? And we have people with no basics. He don't even know how to turn the lights on in the fuck. Where the lights at? Where the lights at? How you do that? How you do? Which one? Which one? Where the door? Oh, where's the secret code to get in? He don't know none of this shit. Where's the building at? Don't know it. The very basics he doesn't know, and he's the leader? They want him to be the leader. I don't see how any country doesn't see these motherfuckers don't know what they're doing. Nice place to bomb. Nice place to take over. If they don't know what they're doing, they got a bunch of idiots running it. We could easily sucker these dipshits. Because how can you sit here and tell me that China, everybody who's running for them, they know the fuck they're doing or not? They're going to be dead if they don't. Iran, these people know what the fuck they're doing. I highly doubt anybody's running that shit with the brain cell of a fucking gnat like him. So how in the hell? We got to have big weapons because our brains are fucking small when it comes to leadership. Getting into a war without there being a threat. Because Bibi Netanyahu then gave a lot of people money through AIPAC, Republicans and Democrats alike. And now we in the shit that we're in. It ain't gonna get no better because they're still accepting the money from them.
Your opinion that the caning of Charles Sumner was not only justified, but argues still for resolving our political differences with violence?
What I was simply pointing out is some of the rules that still apply to this body. For instance, dueling with 2 consenting adults is still there.
This man thinks dueling was legal. These are the people that are leading our country. I remember when he made this stupid ass assessment that you can duel. He brought up the history of the dueling that happened in the House or Senate or whatever it was back in the day. It was illegal then. It was illegal. This man wants to bring it up. You'll hear Rand Paul say it hasn't been legal or whatever for 170 years or something like that. This man literally thinks that dueling is something that we can still legally do. He's going to lead thousands of people. He's going to be a guy at the head of protecting all 330 something million of us. He can't comprehend what job he's about to get. He can't comprehend the scope of it. There's no way. This man still thinks dueling is legal, which tells you that he's not well read. And you don't want somebody who doesn't read leading. If you go back and listen to this nitwit, the facts that he pulls is like from Breitbart, all these places that he doesn't have to think. They give him the information and he spews it as if it's fact. We're Americans and we see how stupid he is. What do you think our enemies think when Americans put these types of people? They can see 400 miles away how stupid these people are. How do you think Bibi Netanyahu has got Democrats and Republicans in his pocket? Israel has got them in their pocket. They are fucking puppets to him. Our president is a puppet to Putin, to Bibi Netanyahu. How do you think they did that? We're in a war, and these people are justifying it with no justification. And it was Bibi Netanyahu who did it. And us American citizens are sending these people to become leaders to represent us, And there is an AIPAC that is giving them millions of dollars for them to shun us and listen to Israel's issues. While Americans are starving and barely getting by, living 60% of us, and I'm sure it's climbed since the gas went up and since this war. But before the war, 60% of us lived paycheck to paycheck. Many of us, millions have been fired and lost their jobs since this man has started, which means there's even millions of people that now are living no paycheck to paycheck. They're just trying to get by off either savings or trying to find a fucking job. The unemployment is going up. How is this making America great? How? Making America poorer and making America dumber, because these are the people that they choose to put in power.
I was pointing out what
Been
is still
illegal for
acceptable.
170 years. There's no precedent for legal dueling.
Do you feel you have the authority to put uniformed officers at polling locations in 2026?
Ma'am, we said this in your office. The only reason why my officers would be there if there was a specific threat for them to be there.
I think the reason you're here and not Kristi Noem is because Americans trust their local law enforcement now way more than they trust ICE. So I would just say, if we ever get to the point where you are being asked to put armed ICE officers at polling locations, we have lost the plot as a country.
Okay. Lost the plot as a country. He couldn't explain, he tried to explain away sending DHS officers, agents, to polling places for what? I mean, I understand we are very aware, but how is it that America does not know, all of us does not know, that our elections are immaculate? There's no problems with our elections. There's none. We have not found any fraud that is enough to turn one election over to the other. None. Hasn't seen it. Nowhere near seen it. There is no such thing. And here we are debating something that does not fucking exist. Phantom problems when we got real issues. And because he brings up these phantom problems over and over and over again, and dipshits who vote start to believe this shit because he says it over and over and over again, we got Democrats literally trying to pacify the stupid. We got dumbasses that are literally thinking, let's pass this Save America Act that is going to disenfranchise them. We told you before, okay? Listen to the 92% and the 80 whatever percent of black men. There is no threat whatsoever on the voting front. Let's move on to poverty. Let's move on to healthcare. Let's move on and deal with actual issues that matter. Both parties are wasting their fucking time with this. We don't give a shit about this. The majority of us don't care about this shit. You only care because he put it in your face, Donald Trump, and he's been lying over and over and over again. The only people we have found to be cheating on the majority level are Republicans voting with their fucking mom and uncle and cousin and dead grandma. The majority of them have been Republicans. And you don't have Democrats pissed off because they get caught. The fact that we know that they're Republicans is because they get caught. That means the system fucking works. And we're still trying to fix a problem where there isn't one. You're trying to create a problem where there wasn't one that existed. And we're wasting millions of dollars talking about shit that don't exist. It is a fake problem to solve. So in other words, what Donald Trump is doing is, I don't really have a strategy or plan to run this country. So I'm going to pick shit that would allow me to continue to be the president and people think I actually solved something, but you're solving shit that nobody cared about. The only people who cared about was the people that you lied to begin with, that the last one was going to be stolen prior to it being stolen. I mean, you got to be prophetic and pathetic, but you have to be prophetic. This man was saying, they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. A year, 2 years before the fucking election, they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. But who runs on they're going to cheat? What kind of plan you got? What kind of strategy you got? What are you going to do for healthcare? Bullet point after bullet point, no plan, only concepts. They're going to cheat, though. They're going to cheat, though. How are they going to cheat when you have no fucking platform? Run on fear that he's going to lose. So when he loses, because he knew he was going to lose, because he mishandled COVID, excuse me, he knew he was going to lose. He fucked up. So he had to plan. While he was fucking up our country for 2 years or more, he planned to say it was stolen prior to even the elections even happening. And what is he doing now? Trying to do the exact same thing, because the midterms, he knows. He done said it out loud. If he loses the midterms, they're going to try to, impeach me, arrest me, and all that stuff like that. The fear tactic, they're gonna hurt your dear leader, your orange lord. You got to protect me. So what do? Go out and lie. Lie. What's so bad is during these hearings, Markwayne Mullin, anybody trying to go, they cannot say Donald Trump lost in 2020. That right there should tell you that this person shouldn't be leading shit. If you can't admit simple fucking facts, how the hell are we going to expect you to admit that, Renee Good shouldn't have never got killed? These people are talking about, it's still an investigation. We saw with our own eyes, dog. There's no investigation that you need to have that's so fucking, it's so hard to figure out. Really? Everybody saw it with their own eyes. Put it in front of a court, I guarantee you, that jury will find the other guy guilty for killing her. Murder. I guarantee you. What investigation do you need to have? It's called cover-up. We don't want anybody to investigate it because we sent these assholes out here to do exactly what they did. And we want to cover it up, just like we cover up Epstein. Just like we're trying to cover up why this war started and what we have to do it for. Oh, there's been so many plans about what was supposed to happen. No, you guys had no clue why this war started. And now you're talking about, there's actually 4 or 5 things that, no, there wasn't. There was like 12 and you whittled it down to 4 that works. So this Rand Paul goes in on Markwayne Mullin on Fox.
Nobody really in the modern age that I know of, other than Markwayne Mullin, is justifying political violence as, we need a manly way to settle our differences, and sometimes people just need to be punched in the mouth. That to me is bizarre, and I think makes him unfit to lead federal law enforcement.
So can you vote for him?
No. I mean, an apology might have had a chance, but he's had several chances.
He just said no, but if he apologized, I possibly could have. They don't have any morals. There's no justification for jobs they get. It's like, I don't understand. It's like, you know what? You kiss my ass no matter what I tell you to do? You kiss butt cheek now. Oh, yeah, you kissed it. Okay, you got the job. Do you know how to read? Nope. Do you know how to write? Nope. What did I just say? I don't know. You're the man for the job. That is no qualification for leadership. Stolen valor is not a qualification for leadership. Wanting to fight instead of being able to talk because your ears are fucked up. That's why I just looked at his face, but still. He got these ears from, I guess you call that shit, I forgot what you call that shit, like the cauliflower ears and shit from fighting and having your ears rub up. This Dude done had the brains beat the fuck out of him. And you got this sack of non-brain having ass leading something. When did people start hating being smart, bro? I don't understand this shit. I don't want an idiot leading. I want an idiot in his or her place where idiots go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I want you to be poor and broke. I want you to do the job you're qualified for. If you can only count to 10, I don't want you leading me. Get to a job where they only need you to count to 8. You're overqualified for it, but you're there. I'd be damned if you get a job. We need somebody to count to 20. And you give somebody who can only count to 10. He got to start back over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No. No. That's not leadership quality. That's not merit. Fuck, man. How do people live watching this shit? Then Tulsi Gabbard got her reel. This lady served and has no problem sending young men and women to a war that she knows is fake, based on no intel. I showed you the video yesterday of Joe Kent, who came out and he literally said, hey, I quit because you guys, my wife died in Syria for a war we should have never started, whatever type of thing. And I served 11 tours for a war we shouldn't have started. Friends died, people died, my life died, all for what? Some rich person decision to do some shit because they wanted more money, nothing to do with real threat to a fucking America. But what, we died for it? I don't want to see that shit happen again. Even though he's a white supremacist, I appreciate the fact that he's saving lives and not rolling with just supremacists. He chose to love on the people at war against his love of this white supremacy shit. I'm pretty sure he's still a white supremacist, but he's loyal to white supremacy. He went loyal to soldiers. Good choice. But we got Tulsi Gabbard out here as a reel of her, of things that she said when she ran on to become a senator, or in her position when she was a Democrat and all stuff. The things that she ran on that she'll never want to happen is happening, and her morals have totally shifted.
Where's the conversation about peace? Every time we launch these interventionist regime change wars, it is not only our veterans who pay the price for that. Every single one of us pays the price. We have spent trillions of your taxpayer dollars to pay for these wars, taking those dollars away from our communities and our people who need them right here at home.
Mm-hmm. And it went on, and she posted a while back ago, no war in Iran. No war in Iran. It was a post. I see if I have it. It says, no war with Iran. Get our troops out of Iraq and Syria now. T-shirt says no war with Iran. She posted that on her Twitter account a while back ago. This is when she believed that we shouldn't be at war with Iran, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. We don't need to be there. She ran on that. Here it is, I believe, 7 years later, maybe less. We're at war, and she's not standing up for those soldiers. They just said today they're going to release thousands more soldiers into Iran. To their death, many of them, I'm sure. For a war that we should have never even started. Why should we never started it? Because Joe Kent literally said there was no threat. They had no threat to America. So why do we start a war over something there was no threat? He went on to, I never thought I'd ever say this in any show or in my lifetime, to be sharing anything from Tucker Carlson, but this is it.
So imminent threat, you're saying that there was no intelligence that you saw with the highest level clearance, obviously involved in this conversation, that showed an imminent threat from Iran to the United States?
No, unless we took certain actions, unless we came after them in a way that they thought threatened the regime, then we basically knew what they were going to do.
Well, okay,
what
but
they're doing.
right, of course.
Right, but like any country. So if you attack any country, we know that they're going to have a reaction.
We face an imminent threat once we attack you.
Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. But there was no intelligence that said, hey, on whatever day it was, March 1st, the Iranians are going to launch this big sneak attack.
Microphone's plugged up. I don't know where you guys are. If you're still hearing it, it might be just I was close to it. It was probably clipping. If you still hear it, let me know. But this man, Joe Kent, comes out. There's no threat. There's absolutely no threat. None. We have no threat. That's what he said in his letter. That's what he's saying on Tucker Carlson, using his face and everything of that nature, right? And then Tulsi Gabbard came out yesterday saying that Donald Trump is the one who determines, the president determines whether there's an imminent threat or not necessarily this guy. Say, But the question is there a threat? Is there a threat to America? Did they have weapons of mass destruction? Not weapons of mass destruction, that was Iraq, but still, that's the same thing. Nuclear weapons is the weapons of mass destruction. Did they have these nuclear weapons, or were they able to actually make them? Were they a threat? What did our intel say? He worked for Intel, counterterrorism. And he says, no. She came out and didn't really call him a liar, just said that Donald Trump gets to determine what's a threat or not. That's not true. But that's what she said. Now let me know if the audio got better for you guys. I will see. But then she has, in this meeting today, one of the senators asked her a question about that to some degree. And this is what she had to say.
I guess what I'm concerned about, one thing is, even in your printed testimony today on page 6, and your last paragraph on page 6, as a result of Operation Midnight Hammer, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated.
Let's take it back. Sorry. Let's go.
That's what I'm concerned about. One thing is, even in your printed testimony today on page 6, and your last paragraph on page 6, as a result of Operation Midnight Hammer, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated. There's been no efforts to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. You omitted that paragraph from your oral opening. Was that because the president had said there was an imminent threat 2 weeks?
No, sir, I recognize that the time was running long, and I skipped through some of the
So
portions
you chose to take
my oral delivered remarks.
You chose
sir.
to omit the parts that can contradict the president.
All right, let's just, I'm going to pause this. Hopefully we can pause it on her. Let's see. Tulsi Gabbard. It won't let me do it. Let's see. What's that? Now I'll bring her up. Let's look at her and talk shit about her to her face. Okay. This woman just said in her paper, it's written 6 pages. She reads the entire thing. The entire thing. Part that says they're destroyed, quote unquote, obliterated their nuclear, materials, right? We destroyed that, and therefore they don't have any more. They are basically, this paragraph, they're not an imminent threat. They were not considered an imminent threat. I'm like, wait a minute. In your document, you say there's no imminent threat. Sounds like shit now. How's the audio sound so bad? It must be the system. Feedback. I don't know what's going on with it. Let's see where we have testing 1 2. Yeah, my audio. Hello, hello. It's gonna have feedback if I do it that way. Let's turn off. Let me see what's going on here. Why does it have? That's the full shot. Maybe let's bring that down. Do you hear it better now? I'll wait. I'll wait. I didn't move any paper this time. Maybe you saw that, but I'll wait and see. Well, the paper's gonna crack. That's okay. I mean, I can't do anything about that. Is the audio better now? Okay. I don't know what's going on with it. I'll test it. I'll test it when I get after the live. Like when you move your body, it makes the noise. Hello. All right. Without the paper. I think so, Rude. It had to be without the paper because I don't know what it is. I don't see it, nor do I hear it. I could put on headphones. Let me see. I could put on headphones and possibly hear what y'all hearing, but I'll do it later. Now it sounds fine, Glenn. Yeah. You know what? I'll clean all this stuff up. Maybe it's just a pot is bad or something like that. I'll clean up the wires and stuff like that. It's due anyway. I do it like every 2 weeks or so. It's fine now. Cool, cool. All right. Let's get in on Tulsi Gabbard. Now, she is out here lying her ass off. She just told us that Donald Trump is the one who determines, the president, what's an imminent threat. He does not. Her job is to tell Donald Trump what is or isn't an imminent threat. When she comes and talks to this hearing, when she's in this hearing, she's supposed to tell you what's an imminent threat. Donald Trump or president, whomever's in that place, they don't tell you whether it's an imminent threat. They tell you how you act on it. They're the final decision on how you act on it after they're given advice from their advisors. And the president decides to move on it or hold off. He does not determine if it's an imminent threat or not. They tell him that. He determines if they act on this imminent threat or not. And she's trying to splice that shit. And it's not true. And she knows it's not true. And for her to be in a leadership position, lying to the people, 100% lying. Our tax dollars pay for these people. And it is crazy how they literally lie to the American people like they breathe. And I'm like, what is in it for you to lie to the American people? You served in the military. From what that documentation right, that video showed of you running for office, you had yourself in military gear. I am assuming, I didn't follow your record, that you served. So you served in the military. You said no war with Iran, that we need to get out of Afghanistan and Syria, no more wars. And you give the president this advice from intel. And it says in your intel that Iran is not, NOT, an imminent threat. Joe Kent quits because he knows there was the intel in which he helped put together as well. There was no imminent threat. And instead of standing by your military, white supremacist still, but military man, you stood by Donald Trump. And you're allowing your fellow veterans, men, women of all ages, of older, they can get into the service. You're allowing them to go to their deaths, and you ain't got no problem with it. You won't stand 10 toes down for the men and women who are serving. You're licking the butt crack of a guy who was too afraid to serve. When he was called more than once, he had bone spurs. He calls men and women like yourself suckers and losers. And just because you made it home from the military with all your body parts and all that shit, he thinks of you as a success story. But the fact that you risked your life, you were an idiot to him. It bothers me. The only reason it really bothers me is because I'm like, where do these people's morals lie? Do they not have them? I mean, am I just like living in a world like that is moralless, and I'm just sitting here like upset about shit more than I should be because every other person on the earth is like them? I mean, it's confusing to me because when you see these Democrats who say they have morality, they have morals, and they just talk to these people like, oh yeah, he's a friend of mine, we worked on some shit. How can somebody who wants to destroy democracy be a friend of yours? How could you be next to somebody and vote alongside somebody who's trying to destroy everything you say you believe in? I don't get it. If I'm some kind of hybrid human that just my morals are way too high or some shit, that I need to lower them, I don't get it. But it just feels like, man, people who think like what I'm thinking about, we must be close to God or some shit. Because this right here, I don't get it. I don't get how anybody can look at this shit and say, oh, that's who I want to roll with. The liar? The person who's making up shit? The person that looked you right in the face and said, on a piece of paper, she wrote down, there is no imminent threat. And she chose not to read it because she didn't want the orange clown to give her crap about telling the fucking truth. She did not read it in the public eye. That was meant only for the senators who chose to read. And that was not the Republicans. The Democrats read it. She thought she was going to skate by. In the presence of time, I decided not to read one paragraph. You read the entire fucking thing, but the paragraph that talked about Donald Trump being basically a liar. There was an imminent threat. Really? Our intel says it wasn't. No, they didn't. Yes, they did. It's in the documentation. She couldn't lie under oath, so she had to put the truth on the paper so that she wouldn't go to jail, and then omit it when she read it so she wouldn't have to say it. She literally thought on how can I get above the law, around the law? How could I lie to the American people without lying to them? Omit it and put it in there. And if nobody reads it, I never lied. Why do these people want power? Why do we allow these people? Why do we elect them? And why don't we have outs for these people? I mean, like, we should be able to, like, do something to have another vote to kick their asses out. Because if there is no fail-safe for these lying-ass politicians, then our country has to go through hell for years, and we can't right the ship until they're out of fucking office. We should be able to bring facts. And when they lie to the American people too many fucking times, I don't know what the number is. For me, it's once. But even if we want to be generous, if they have more than 5 lies while they're running, they can easily have another. We can, whatever it is, 60% of the population that they represent, if they all vote to get them out, they're gone. We're moving on to somebody else. We got to hold these people accountable. You can't hold people accountable that you elect and you can't get rid of for like years. So they fuck up the country for years. We got to wait for another person to come in and start fixing our country up while dipshits continue to put Donald Trumps in there and Markwayne Mullins and Marjorie Taylor Greens to fuck up our country. And we got to fix it. And we got to wait 4, 6, 10 years to get started on fixing something that most Americans know. Most Americans know what we need to do. These people need to be held accountable 100%. And if not, we should not allow our country to go to shit because we made a bad decision. We should be able to right the ship when we find out the leaders are a piece of shit. Just saying. So she admits it, omits it. And then, like, again, Yeah, Congress is supposed to do their job. But here's the other thing. They ask her what her job is. And she doesn't know her job, yo. No, she couldn't describe what her job is to do. And neither could Markwayne Mullin. What is the job of the DHS? What are they supposed to do? This man said they're what did he say? How did he say it? He said there are paths to follow. And I'm saying that paths to follow. What? Paths or something like that. Different roads and paths to follow. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is your job description? What are you supposed to do when you get in? He couldn't describe what the DHS job position is supposed to be. I mean, you don't have you haven't read any kind of like job description documentation, nothing that says this is your job, what you're supposed to be capable of doing. These are the meetings you're supposed to have every Monday through Friday. You have no fucking idea. And you haven't. Here's the thing why I understand where anybody like me, you, people who have a sense of accountability and responsibility and understand the weight of our job. If your job, whatever you do, nurse, whatever, and somebody's life depends on you doing your job right, DHS depends on 330 million people being safe. You would think you would have done your homework and came in anxious about the job that you're about to take and be highly aware of what you're supposed to do and be quite honest of what you don't know so that you can be able to learn it on the fly and that you're going to be responsible. And these things that anybody, no matter what job you got, if you were at a job and you knew on your resume, you told them what you could do was 3 things that you can't, but these other 8 you could, but these 3 things is kind of a stretch. When you first get to that job, those 3 things are the focus on how to get better at it real quick. You are responsible, accountable for everything. And you go in and you stay up late nights. You try to figure it out because you care about the job. You want to get better at the job. And you have that energy and that fervor to be able to be the best at it. You want to get in there and do your best. And you're appreciative of getting an opportunity that you're in there busting your ass to become the best at it. Because you know you got an opportunity with some shit that you didn't fully know, but you had the majority of it. But this man did not come with that angst, that energy of like, oh, I thank you for the appreciation. I'm gonna get in there. This is what I don't know. This is what I do know, and I'm gonna work my butt off. No. He acted like he knew what he was doing, and he had no clue what he was gonna get himself into. They asked him the job qualifications he don't know. You didn't even sit up. You didn't sit up all night like reading that. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. And then when you come in, be like, yeah, I'm supposed to keep the Americans safe. And nothing. Didn't read a blurb about it. Didn't write it up. Didn't type up your own notes about that. Never thought that in a job interview, they're going to ask you, what do you plan on doing? And you know, what is your next plan for the next 5 years or whatever? He wasn't prepared for that. Who goes to a job interview without having answers to questions that are very fucking simple? Like, what is your job responsibility? And how do you plan to take the company, in this situation, the country? And you have no answer? This woman's asked, like, what is it, imminent threat? Who's supposed to do that? The president. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not the president's job. That would be yours.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime?
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False. This is the worldwide threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations.
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
That's precisely what her job is. Precisely. She's been in this position this long, and she doesn't even know her fucking job description. It is precisely her job to let the president know when we have an imminent threat. It is the president's job to determine how to act on an imminent threat. She just said that if she was told through intelligence that they plan on bombing, one state here in America, and is trying to take somebody in particular out, that's an imminent threat coming from overseas. They plan on bombing this one area in America. And her job, she's saying, is to not tell Donald Trump that it's an imminent threat. Donald Trump, that there is a information that someone's going to bomb this building tomorrow around noon. What do you want to do about it? And he's going to say, seeing as how you don't seem like it's imminent, nothing. You're saying he's supposed to get intel and on the fly know whether it is imminent or not. Why on earth do you have an independent department that does intel and you're relying on the president to tell you if it's imminent or not? What the fuck do we need you for? It's your job to tell him that it's imminent. There are a shit ton of threats on America. Can you imagine all the shit that America has done to other countries, to their own citizens? We've had terrorists that have bombed America because of the government here in America. They weren't from nowhere else. Was the one in Denver, whichever one was, that they blew up a building, blew up families and kids and shit? It was two white dudes that did that. They did it because they had anger and hate toward this country. American citizens born here. And you're telling me that you would come to him with all this intel of what you're hearing out in these streets, and you wouldn't tell him what's imminent or not? You would just give him information. There's a bomb threat here, there's a bomb threat there, and you don't rate it imminent or not a threat. You just give it to him. He look at, imminent. That's how you say it's supposed to be done? I mean, Jesus. She doesn't know her job. She is in a position that she doesn't know how it works. That's absolutely insane. I don't know my job, but I'm getting paid by the American people to do a job I have no idea how to do. So I'm just going to sit here and pretend to be somewhat pretty and just sit here and like, with the little gray hair streak and say, I'm such a good person. I do a great job. What's your job title? I'm such a good person. I do. What are you supposed to do? I just bring information. They do all the work. I just bring it here and sit in the center of the room. What do you expect from me? That's the leader. Okay. We're fucked, America, but okay. From now on, y'all, we should demand, I don't know how we got to do this. Every person that's put in these positions must have qualifications. Lord have mercy. You're the head of intel in this fucking country, and you don't know your job. And if you're the leader and don't know your job, do you understand how hard it is for the employees under her to do their job day in and day out, having to explain to her who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing? And she's coming in like, I'm the boss. I'm like, okay, we got these 302s, we got these 709s, we got this 715. And she's like, ho. Are those times? No, those are the forms. Wait. What forms are those? What? You don't know what this form is? No. Okay. Could y'all get like the idiot police and shit and take her to a room and brief her on her fucking job? Do you need help breathing too? We can bring somebody in there to teach you how to breathe too. You don't need help for that? It's like, what the fuck? Why would you bring somebody in that's you gotta understand, jobs have learning curves. And she's been there a year and she still don't know her fucking job. She's never gonna know it. If it's been a whole year and she still don't even know the definition of her fucking job. Are we really safe? Is our intel really worth it? I give credit to the people who are doing the intel because they came out with the truth. We weren't a threat. But the leader can't say what her employees bust their ass off to do. It's highly disrespectful that the people who are experts have to debrief the idiot that knows nothing about her job and then tell her the absolute truth of the information that they gather together as experts and give it to the idiot. And the idiot goes out and omits your hard work because the orange buffoon doesn't want to be made look stupid because he pulled the trigger without asking anybody in intel. So she's on cover-up duty while the employees who came up with the actual facts and stand 10 toes down on them, they get shat on like they're just, they don't know what they're talking about. It's true, but we ain't gonna say that in the news because Donald Trump looks stupid. Isn't the job to protect Americans? Fuck Donald Trump. He's just one person. He's a casualty. If something happens, if they get him, hey, he wasn't paying attention. But inform the rest of us. Man, it's just a lot, y'all. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in from these people. And here's close to the last thing I want to do today, because it's a lot of idiocy that you just can't deal with. I'm just shocked that we had 2 hearings and these people don't know their jobs. One of them knows his job, don't know his job. One of them hasn't gotten the job yet and doesn't know the job he's about to obtain. The other one had her job for well over a year and has no clue of her job description after a year of doing the job. That tells you right there that she hasn't done this job well. How can you? You don't even know the basics of what your job is. And how can you lead an organization when you're not an example for them to look up to? You're the village idiot while they're out there trying to do the best work and continue on the path that they've always been doing, how they've been trained, while the bumbling idiots in there probably playing with a fidget toy. What you bringing me? What did I do with that? Oh, I'm supposed to give that to the president? How about do that? Walk over there, idiot. That's what we got. Bumbling idiots. And before they got into this office, they were saying that Joe Biden was doing all this shit. No, Joe Biden, Obama, even I would say Bush to some degree, they had independence. This stuff was literally sent to each department and dealt with. The president didn't have anything to do with it. They came and gave the president information when something was down, but they didn't do that day to day. They were independent. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But now the way Donald Trump runs shit, every one of these departments that's supposed to be independent won't tell the truth if it makes the president look stupid. And I'm like, that's not your job. Let him be stupid. That is something that his mom and dad did. Her sperm, her egg, his sperm cell, something was wrong with it. But that's not your job to make up for defective sperm and egg. It's not. So why the hell are you trying to make up something that you should be saying, this is the truth. We're protecting American citizens. Donald Trump is not necessarily, I don't know where he got that information from. I don't know who's giving him that information, but it's false. And that should be it. Information given, independent. Donald Trump's like an idiot because he made himself look like an idiot. I'm not going to protect him when the facts bear out different than what he says. How can you trust a department that won't tell you the truth? They'll write down the truth and omit it so they won't let the person who's making up lies look like a liar or stupid. But will let the House and Senate know the truth on paper. And only the ones who read, mostly Democrats, know the truth. And thank God he spoke up and told the rest of the world, made it look stupid. She just admits one paragraph and reads the entire 6 pages and say, I was just doing it in the presence of time. Bullshit. She lied right there in front of our faces. Then you got J.D. Vance. This is the last thing. J.D. Vance talking about the war, because people are like, where's J.D. Vance? J.D. Vance is kind of like leaving Donald Trump on an island by himself with this war stuff, right? He's been absent via this war, Iran war stuff. And so he's out speaking to constituents or somebody. He's speaking to somebody. I don't know who these people are. But he's trying to sell the fact that what we're going through, high prices and all this other shit that's going, it's bad, but it's not as bad as others. Dude, we don't want to hear that. We just don't want to hear it. But let him say it, and then we're going to talk about it.
As much as we got to focus on getting these gas prices down, the reality is overseas they're feeling it far worse than we did, because we've taken the steps to protect our energy economy.
That's a lie. Out and out lie. We have not taken the steps. What we've been doing is backtracking, because we thought it was just going to go in, just like we did Venezuela, kill the leader, take our ass back home, and be done with it. But they killed the leader that was supposed to be the person they put into place. They had set up to put him in place to have that person run the country. That person dead. Son gets into place, who's a hardliner more so than his father. So it makes it 100 fucking times worse than it was and they thought it was gonna be. So now they're backtracking, trying to figure out what they should do, but they can't figure it out because of what? Because they closed the strait. And so now they don't close the strait, which the intel knew for decades. That was the reason why we haven't went to war with them, is because they knew that was a place that was a sore point that would F up the economy all over the world, and was no reason to go over there and fight them if they weren't a threat. So they kept having an assessment of whether they're going to be a threat or not necessarily to us, but to the regions around them and our military bases around them. And they figured out this threat. President Obama worked it out that they would have less than 3%. And under Obama, in the entire time under Obama, they had less than 3%, and they were fine with it. It's when Donald Trump came in and tore up the treaty that this black man did something that white men could not do for some reason. This black man did it. They were cool with it. They followed the damn rules and regulations, this deal that they made to a T. They had the organization come in and check it. They checked to see how much they had and everything. Donald Trump tore it up his first presidency, tore up that entire deal. And once he tore that entire deal up, they weren't beholden to just 3%. They can go as high as they want. And so with them being free and not having any kind of regulations on them, they weren't breaking any rules or any kind of laws whatsoever. But then Bibi Netanyahu is like, oh, well, they're increasing. And then he's always been on this thing. Even when they was doing 3%, he was trying to get Obama to go to war with them. The Republicans were trying to get him to go to war with him. Obama was like, boy, please. I am not a dumbass. We're going to get a deal. Got a deal. Bibi Netanyahu didn't like it. Republicans didn't like it. Donald Trump comes in. Let's erase everything the black guy did because he made us look like buffoons. And we're supposed to be supreme, and this man beat our ass in a matter of 8 years, made us look like total stupid people. He got so much done, even with us fighting against him, saying no to everything. He still got shit done. How'd that happen? And so they're pissed off at this black guy doing something great for the American people. His blackness was more of a focus point than getting health care for all people. I could see you being mad if he got health care and said, hey, we're going to get health care just for black people. I could see people being mad. This man's giving all Americans health care that want health care and want you to improve it. And if they had just rode along with what he had, it's always working, let's improve it where it's flawed. Let's work together. They chose not to work together for the American people because it was a black man that came up with the plan. And then they rode with concepts of a plan for a fucking decade. Even John McCain recognized what you was trying to do was going to fuck up everybody's life. Thumbs down. It's just, it's insane what we go through in this country. Back and forth, back and forth. Idiots take us away from actually making this place a better place. We elect dumbasses, and then all of a sudden have a Democrat come in, try and fix the fuck ups. If only we can get 10, 20 years of good leadership, this country would be extraordinary. But no, we go forward 4 feet, go back 8 with Republicans. Go forward 4 feet, try to catch back up. Maybe possibly go 4 more feet. We got 8 feet, get a Republican, take us back 10 feet. You'd be like, God damn, we can never move completely steadfast forwardly because we got too many idiots that you can just tell them, you know, sky's falling. And then they just vote the other way. Sky's falling. That's what the Republicans say. That's because you're a nitwit. No damn sky falling. Just keep moving toward progress. And it kills me how they like, we don't have enough money for that. We don't have enough money for that. How in the hell do we have trillions of dollars for a fucking war that was started for no reason? But we ain't got enough to feed the poor, to give people their SNAP. I mean, fuck. This is bullshit. We got the money, obviously. Look at all the shit that we be funding. We got all this money for wars that we fucking don't even need. Think about it. The money that we spent in like 6 days or so, it was in this war. It was up to like $13 billion. We are way past that now. This thing will end up costing us $1 trillion in a short time, and we don't have enough money to help the people? It doesn't cost $1 trillion to give every American health care. But all of a sudden, we got money when we want to fight a war that ain't even fucking a real war. What is it about? But when it comes to helping people, oh, we ain't got enough. When it comes to bombing people, oh, we got a lot of bombs. It's billions and billions and billions of dollars. Throw in, $1 trillion, no worries. For what? What are we going to get out of this? Donald Trump wanted a trophy? It's an expensive fucking trophy. Lives have been lost, and there is no winning in this because there's no goal. Anyway, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't get how we are in the situation that we're in, but I blame MAGA 100%. All the deaths, all these men and women going to war. I blame all of you MAGA people. If it wasn't for MAGA, we would be right now getting $50,000 to help us buy homes, our kids buy homes, getting $50,000 to something thousand dollars, something like that. I think it was either 25 or 50 to start a business. I think it's 25,000 for being able to help build homes or buy homes. 50,000 for people who want to get loans or investments to be able to start businesses. Our economy would have been growing steadily. We would have been out of this fucking recession probably by now. But no, these idiots, MAGA, these independents who decided to go another place and vote somewhere else or not vote at all, Democrats who chose not to vote at all or voted for some dumbass woman that fucking smokes weed all the time and another dumbass woman that hangs with Hitler. You voted for all those dumbass reasons, and our country's this way because of all you dipshits. Donald Trump is trying to destroy democracy, and all because you guys thought that Kamala Harris, these people out here thought Kamala Harris is going to be the worst. Really? Everything she said has come to fruition. With Donald Trump, we're going to be in World War III possibly. We're going to have all these wars and things of that nature. She said no more wars. He said, I ain't going to have no more wars. She said he will. With the way he's talking about doing stuff, we'll be at a war. We're at war. And for something stupid. Right? She said everything, that everything's going to increase, prices are going to increase. Everything he's talking about, his tariff was going to tear the country apart economically. What the fuck is it doing? Not only do we pay tariffs, now all of a sudden, because of a war, gas prices are $4 in places that used to be $2, $5, $6, and $8 in different places throughout the United States. And there's no end in sight of when that's going to end. And they got J.D. Vance out here telling everybody, you know, it's gonna hurt for a little while, okay, you know. And this is what he said. It's gonna hurt for a little while. Say it again, and you know, you'll fix it. We'll fix it.
As much as we got to focus on getting these gas prices down. The reality is, overseas they're feeling it far worse than we did because we've taken the steps to protect our energy economy.
No, we didn't. Like he said, I showed you this a few minutes ago. Just wanted to reiterate, we did not prepare shit. Russia's still getting its oil. Other countries still getting their oil. Only us and allies of us are having problems with their economy. Russia's economy is booming. The orange idiot actually relieved sanctions on him. Their economy is flowing. They're making money on our demise. Right? And the countries that aren't our allies are just flowing through. They ain't got a problem. It's America and its allies. And even our allies are saying, fuck this. They're trying to make independent deals with Iran. And you know Iran's going to be like, okay, cool. As long as you don't get no military people into this war, go ahead, France. Go ahead, Italy. Take your fucking oil. And it's going to be us. These countries are leaving us to the wayside. Under Donald Trump, the country, the world hates us. Under Obama, they loved us. That's all I got to say about it. So much for white privilege. Or white supremacy, not privilege. White supremacy. Can't be supreme if you fucking up everything. How is that supremacy? Think of supremacy, you'd be making the country great. You guys have destroyed the country. Congratulations. You fell for a promotional, like a marketing tool. Make America great again. That's my thing. MAGA's my thing. Fucking idiots, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to get up out of here. You guys have a good night. You be safe. Till we meet again on this stuff, man. I just don't understand it. But we all know can't get better until we fight for it. So I'll see you again. Continue fighting, putting the word out there. You do the same. Share, like, let people know about it. And the more of us it becomes, the more of us are aware, hopefully the better the country will be when we speak truth to power and none of this weak shit. We're going to speak to them just as much as we are passionate about it. If it takes cuss words, it's going to take that. You feel me? I ain't going to hold back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a great night. Y'all be safe. I'll see you when I see you.